down to business.
When he drinks, he thinks.
That's the nectar of the gods, baby.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the number one liquid-fueled, liquid lubricated show on the interwebs. This is the Whiskey Musings Broadcast, and I'm seeing the usual cast of Whiskey Warrior malcontented miscreants showing up both on Rumble and on Facebook. Got to call Facebook out. I also, I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube. To be honest with you, I really don't think I get a lot of traction over there, which doesn't surprise me any. But that being said, I have been told or stated on a couple of things that I'm apparently not paying attention to Facebook sometimes. I wanna let you guys know and understand that I do my best to keep tabs on like the chat and all of that stuff. But sometimes I get a little overwhelmed and so I end up dropping the ball on a few things. I'm right on the cusp where having an executive producer style type person like Hannah Gile does, where it would actually make sense. But unfortunately I can't have somebody just, go and do that for free. That would not be nice. So anyway, so you're just stuck with me. Okay. You're stuck with me trying to do everything all at once. And which, is cool in some cases. But tonight things are a little bit, they're going to be a little not quite as smooth as normal. And the reason being is because of the fact that I had to work a little extra tonight, and so I didn't have as much time to prep for tonight's show. That being said, though, I think I've got a pretty good one. For you tonight, but let's get down to the nitty gritty. The first things out of the gate. Number one is, of course, what I am drinking tonight. I definitely need one of these. But tonight is the Four Roses Bourbon, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And as you can see, I'm getting down toward the bottom of the bottle. So I'm going to have to go and get another one, from that. And then, so yeah, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way, 'cause I need to. Gosh, I like that Four Roses. I really do. I got to thank, B. Patrick for telling me about it and putting me on to it. Her and her husband, Fat Paws, over on Rumble. So anyway, okay. I gotta call this out. Sabo OH over on Rumble says, I hope it's good. I paused Buffy the Vampire Slayer for this. I don't know if I can compete against Buffy the Vampire Slayer, either the show or the actual original movie. Because let's face it, I have a face for radio. Anyway, I can't compete to those looks. Either one of them, Sarah Michelle Gellar or Christy. I can't think of her name, Christy something or other. But anyway, so if you want to go back to that and just come back to me later, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Because there's just times where, the eye candy actually really helps. But anyway, so I just can't compete with the eye candy. All right. So let me just move on and go on to the, tonight's sponsor is going to be the Institute on the Constitution, wrong sponsor. Holy crap. I am really out of it. I told you. Tonight's sponsor is True Grit Roots Network. And of course, True Grit Roots Network, TGRN, champions independent artists while paying respect to the pioneers who shaped modern roots music, featuring outlaw country, blues, and rock with a unique twist of urban that is carefully selected and purposely put together. We are the radio highway that connects the back roads, highways, and city streets to your favorite dance hall, roadhouse, and juke joint. TGRN provides original exclusive programming and interviews that are produced and hosted by our own team of DJs and hosts and personalities. Find us on the web at tgrn.net to download our app in the App Store and from Google Play. Alternatively, you can find us on the Live 365 catalog of digital radio stations and through the Live 365 app as well. You can also play our station on your Amazon Alexa by saying, "Play True Grit Roots Network from Live 365. Be sure to use the word "from" in the command, "Play True Grit Roots Network from Live 365. Live 365 is also on Roku, so you can listen to us there as well on your television set. Breaking boundaries for authentic Roots Radio, True Grit Roots Network, tgrn.net, Austin, Texas. And of course, I am a part owner in True Grit Roots Network. So I've got to make sure that is clear to everyone. Okay, so let's move on to tonight's show. And by the way, I have the last of the Outlaw Dog Spotlight, the last member for tonight. And yeah, so there we go. I have a sore throat just because I haven't drank enough whiskey, buddy. Buddy Weiser says I have a sore throat. I might be sounding a little weird. I guess I did read that a little funny, but anyway. All right. So, I've got a bunch of articles tonight that popped, and most of it has to deal with the fact that, the word's starting to get out. Things are starting to change. I'm starting to see people actually punching back now when it comes to places like the woke folk. And in particular, some areas within our society. And there are some things that are changing, of course, going all over. I mean, things are just, things are starting to kind of shift a little bit, or at least according to the news articles that are out there. Sorry, I got a little distracted there because of Music Man. You got your leather-bound Constitution today. Congratulations. And thank you for the purchase, of course, because, that is this, and this is what he's talking about right here, the Institute on the Constitution's Constitution of the United States, the leather-bound one. If you go to constitution.whiskeymusings.com, you can get one for yourself and, of course, support the show in the process. So that is obviously that's a good thing. I want you to support the show. I'd love for you to support the show. This is great. Seeing some more people pop in. I know on social media I did not put out a message because, of course, my day just got really jam-packed at the end. And anyway, so obviously the first good news that I want to bring to you has to deal with the fact that, we've seen a lot of polls that have come out that have been saying that Joe Biden is going to win over Donald Trump, that Joe Biden has a lead over Donald Trump. And, I got to tell you, sometimes that just gets really, really frustrating. And the reason being is because of the fact that, Joe Biden is just basically a vegetable. I mean, as far as that's concerned. But hey, check this out. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Oh, like I said, there's going to be some little hits here and there, but let me go ahead and bring this up. So this popped in the Post Millennial a couple days ago, and I actually I watched, or I read it, picked it up. But breaking exclusive: new poll shows Trump beating Biden head to head, and a Trump DeSantis ticket actually winning some popular vote. However, Americans, and this is to Buddy specifically because I know he likes this, but Americans also prefer a Trump Kari Lake ticket over the Biden-Harris ticket at 47 to 42%. So even a Trump Lake ticket seems to be going. Now, this is a new poll that came out by Rasmussen. It was conducted for political media by Rasmussen. And it's basically saying that a Trump over Biden right now is a 48 to 41% setup, respectively. So Trump at 48, Biden at 41% to win the next presidential election. Now, keep in mind, we're a little far out from that. But, again, to be honest with you, I mean, we're still talking. This is a little ways away. Of course, we're in 2023 and this is the tail end of 2024. So don't take any of these polls realistically with any kind of a grain of salt, because a lot can happen between now and then that are going to change things, especially when you're dealing with people like, for an example, Tim Scott has launched an exploratory committee to take a look at jumping in. So, there's potentially going to be some more people that are definitely coming into the fray for the Republican primary, of course. But that same poll also found that a majority of Americans favor a Trump-DeSantis ticket over Biden-Harris now this is even wider than just Trump over Biden, but a Trump-DeSantis got 51% versus 43% at Biden-Harris. So there's some push here. Now, one of the things that I've mentioned, and I'm not exactly sure, because it really kind of depends how you interpret the Constitution. And supposedly, in the part dealing with the Electoral College section within the Constitution, you can't have, like, the electors can't be from the same state as the president, I think. It's kind of vague to really talk about, but a lot of people are under the understanding and under the consideration, including myself, and I could be completely wrong on this, but are under the understanding that you cannot have a president and vice president from the same state. Now, depending upon how you look at the Constitution and how you interpret it, and I've got to dig a little bit on this, I've got to dig a little bit closer on this, with regards to whether or not the president and vice president can come from the same state. I've seen people say both ways. I've seen people talk about how the president and vice president have to be from separate states. And, so the idea of like a Trump DeSantis ticket will all come down to whether or not Trump actually considers Florida as his place of residency and qualifies that as his place of residency. If he decides to say New York, then all of this is moot. But the fact of the matter is, and you know what, I might actually even, might even take that on as a question for Whiskey. I know I've got a few that I still have to look at, that were submitted, later today, but I haven't gotten to in my email yet. But the point is, I may actually take this on in another episode to kind of clarify some of that. That being said, that of course assumes that DeSantis would take a back seat, to Trump. And I don't see it happening. I don't see DeSantis or Trump taking second fiddle, to anyone, because believe it or not, Trump and DeSantis are both considerably set up as alpha males. And so I honestly don't see how that is going to be, a bit of a thing. So I have over on Rumble, I have a Rumble rant. Thank you very much. This comes from Music Man, and Music Man says, missed last week. What's my perspective on Tucker? Well, there's a lot of things that are coming out about Tucker. I'll just answer this question really quick. That's a lot of questions with regards to how Tucker left and everything else. But the big thing is that, as we know, based on the information that we have available, is Tucker is actually not fired. He was just taken off the air. And I believe that might have a challenge, or there might be a challenge with regards to him being taken off the air and whether or not they actually let him out of his contract, because his contract actually goes to past the election in 2024. So depending upon where, what they are actually attempting to do with his reach, let's say, I honestly think that the coming days and his negotiation of being released from his contract is going to be really telling in terms of where he will go. But to be honest with you, I think it was stupid. I think it was entirely stupid of Fox to do, and I think they're paying for it right now. But I will be more than happy to see Tucker somewhere else like Rumble, for an example. That would be particularly awesome if he decided to do that. All right. So as far as getting back to the whole Trump DeSantis thing, DeSantis basically was, is an alpha male. I don't see him taking second fiddle to anything. And of course, narcissistic Trump is not going to take a backseat to anybody either. So realistically, I honestly don't see how that's going to work in terms of like a Trump DeSantis ticket. I don't think it's going to happen. If anything, I think Ron DeSantis, if he were to lose the primary for president, I think he would just go back to being governor and just stay at governor and then try in 2028 after Trump got done or whatever. I don't think if Trump beats him in the primary, I don't think he's going to say, yeah, I'll go and be your VP for a while. Realistically, I think it'd just say, I'll just stay in Florida as a governor, which, by the way, the Florida legislature cleared the last obstacle for him announcing here recently. And so he essentially will just, he'll announce. I expect he'll announce to be a part of it after May 5th, like he originally said that he would. So let's see, what's that? That's in a couple of days. So don't be surprised if you see this weekend an announcement by DeSantis that he's running for president. So yeah, that's my guess. Going back to the piece here in the Post-Millennial, Americans also preferred a Trump Kari Lake ticket over a Biden-Harris ticket, 47 to 42%. Younger Americans between the ages of 18 and 39 were more likely to vote Biden-Harris at 59%. That's because they literally, especially in the 18 to 27 group, don't have a brain yet. And that's scientifically proven, folks. You can check. That's scientifically proven. You do not grow a frontal lobe completely until about the age of 25 or 27. Okay. So, yeah, it's, yep. Anyway, while the older Americans who have brains, I put that in there, chose a Trump DeSantis ticket. A similar occurrence was seen when Biden-Harris, with the Biden-Harris versus Trump Lake ticket. So basically the reason why Biden and Harris are attractive or get any kind of votes is because of the younger and more naive, ignorant, uneducated, dare I say stupid generation. Anyway, younger voters were more likely to view Biden as favorable, which doesn't really surprise me any, because with 66% responding very or somewhat favorable compared to voters 40 to 64 and older than 65. The majority of which had an unfavorable view of Biden. And again, a lot of that, I think, falls into the whole thing of Biden promising the moon and saying that he would pay for, your college education, he would pay for whatever other kinds of stuff, and that government will basically just give you everything and it's all free. That's how you get the younger generation, because they really don't understand how the world really works. And a lot of that, of course, has to deal with the fact that they don't have a brain. So anyway, I'm kind of surprised about that 3 Chevy that you had an older person tell you yesterday, 3 Chevy over on Rumble, that the bank situation is Trump's fault. I don't understand where that person is pretty uneducated. And Jeannie, Jeannie, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, over on Facebook, she says DeSantis said he would fulfill his gubernatorial obligations. To leave now is questionable. Well, I see, the thing about it is, Jeannie, is that at one time, right before the Florida legislature decided to clear that out, the Florida legislature had a rule, or there was a law that basically said that he would have had to step down as governor. He would have had to resign his position in order to run as president. But they have since passed a clarification basically saying and giving him the green light, to be honest with you, giving him the green light to go and to basically go and run for president. So he can run without giving up his position. And so as long as he can do that, I think he will jump into the Republican primary, because let's be honest, it's a win-win situation for him, because of the fact that if he runs in the primary and actually wins the primary and goes for president, then regardless of what happens after he wins the primary, if he loses the presidential race, he just goes back to being governor for 2 years. If he doesn't win the primary, he just goes back to being governor. If he wins the primary and the presidency, then he just moves on, and he's actually not out of a job. So honestly, that actually sets him up for like a serious win-win. So I would be surprised. Now, Buddy brings up a good point. He did say that he would not run if Trump ran. So yeah, I just think that it's a little odd that he is not just literally seriously, in terms of this specific point, Buddy, I'm really surprised that he is just not flat out saying, I will not run. So obviously something's got to be going on in the background. I don't know what for sure. I don't know for sure what's going on there, but anyway. Yeah, I don't see, like Day says, I just don't see how DeSantis, knowing that Trump is running, can hold himself to that initial thing. I think he's kind of, honestly, I think he's going to go back on that, to be honest with you. But anyway. Okay. So continuing on with the piece here, both Trump and DeSantis had a majority of favorable responses, with 59% responding somewhat or very favorable for Trump and 60% responding as such for DeSantis. 54% said they would trust a Trump-DeSantis ticket more on the issues of illegal immigration, which was 54%, government corruption, which is 51%, the economy, 53%, and national security, 52%, over a Biden-Harris ticket. Notably, and this is a serious note, but notably 52% of Hispanic voters said that a Trump and DeSantis would be better to handle the ongoing border crisis than Biden and Harris. Well, that's pretty obvious. They've had 2 years, I should say, to freaking fix this stuff. And in fact, I don't know if anybody has heard this, but apparently Biden has now going to send something like 1,500 troops to the border, because pretty soon here, Title 42 is going to go away. And when that happens, we are going to get flooded with migrants. We've already got migrants moving toward the border right now. And so I honestly think that is going to be, that's going to be a big, serious thing. And honestly, I mean, Trump really should be focusing specifically on Biden. And I mean, I've said this before, this is the one problem that I have with Trump. I mean, other than his narcissistic tendencies, which he needs to give up, but as a part of that narcissism, he really, really focuses on, he really, really needs to focus on his opponents and not so much the same people in his party. I know that he thinks that, that things like DeSantis, he wants to win the nomination, but to be completely honest, I think he would get better traction with most people if he would quit going after DeSantis directly and really focus on Biden and Harris, for the fact that they are, yeah. And I agree, Mama, over on Rumble. I agree. They are all narcissistic. I get it. And there was one other one that I saw in here. What the hell? Wait a second. What happened here? Did I lose Facebook out of the group? No, I hope not. But anyway, J.R. Hooper says, over on Facebook says, I've seen DeSantis ads already. And, so I agree that, that is definitely, I'm going to have to see what the heck happened. I lost in my, all right. Well, we'll have to see. Somebody make a comment over on Facebook. There it is. I see you, Whiskey. Good. Thank you, Tommy, over on Facebook. I appreciate that. It was my chat program that lost all of the Facebook messages because I was looking for something. But and yes, Mama, over on Rumble, that is true. Trump, he's got enough money that he can't be bought. So, yeah, I agree. There's at least that. So I do appreciate that. All right. So the next item that I have up is, a lot of people have been asking, I know I've been asking, is who in the hell would be stupid enough to encourage the geriatric, bought and paid for Chinese foreign agent and possibly Ukrainian foreign agent in the White House? Who in the hell would be stupid enough to try and tell him that, yeah, you're in a good position, go and become the next president? Well, guess what? According to Politico, which is a completely left-leaning outlet, I mean, so left-leaning, you can't even imagine. Dan Bongino says Politico is where you go to essentially see what the left is going to do that day. And I will agree with him because I get the Politico ads and stuff like that. But apparently it was Joe Biden, according to Politico, that convinced Joe to run for re-election. You know why? I actually think that this woman is looking to just stay in the White House for a little bit longer. But anyway, Politico apparently wrote a slobbery piece about First Lady Jill Biden, which is nothing surprising. That wasn't the interesting part. If nothing new, it's nothing new. Sorry. It's nothing new for them to sing the praises of Jill Biden, which of course we all know. Dr. Jill, the greatest doctor of all time. She is just an incredibly smart doctor of education. You cannot dispute what she says because she is a doctor. Dr. Jill Biden. Sorry, that was totally sarcastic. Hopefully you picked that up. But anyway, the piece continues. She's the best thing since sliced bread, after all. That's the way the left thinks of her. But anyway, no, that's not the case. The interesting part is that the liberal Biden supporting online publication all but comes right out and blames Jill Biden for the fact that her husband is running for re-election, even though no one else wants him to do that. So, again, the Democrats we've seen polls. We've all seen polls. And, they've been going back and forth a lot of times, but a lot of Democrats don't want Joe to run. And the reason being is because the guy is obviously not all there. If you ever listen to him speak, and I make jokes about this on Twitter all the time, the fact that he has an intern that types all of his stuff, because there's no way something that coherent could have come out of his mouth. But the point being is that, again, not too many people really are too favorable with Joe Biden right now. In fact, his favorability rating is in like the high 30s. I think it's the lowest that it's been in his entire presidential history. But the fact that you even go and say, you know what, I want you to run again because, it's obvious you have fights with the teleprompter every time you get in front of one. The fact that you can't even walk upstairs, not downstairs, falling downstairs, I can understand a little bit, but walking upstairs, you fall down. And then, of course, having to be told multiple times where to go when it clearly tells you things like, walk on the red carpet. This guy, I mean, he has no foreign policy. He is a complete, there's times that he says things that have no relevance to the actual topic and conversation. And so, yeah. Anyway, all of that stuff being true, it doesn't really surprise me that Joe Biden, who was his babysitter, by the way, his younger babysitter, there's photos of Joe and Jill together when she was underage, with him sitting, or her sitting on his lap. Yeah, this guy is just, I make it no bones about it. I am not happy about this guy. I don't like this guy. He's probably the worst. He is the worst president in the United States has ever had. And that's saying a lot because we've had a few that are definitely weren't. But to even think that Jill would go and, recommend that he run again. Yeah, that's freaking ridiculous. I'm sorry. She should be brought up for, when you put an elder into one of those spaces and they get beat up or whatever. Anyway, I just can't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I really don't. How anybody can actually vote for this guy, I don't know. Oh, yeah. So here's the proof, by the way. I mentioned that 1,500 troops. Let me just show you this. Biden is finally set to deploy 1,500 troops to the U.S.-Mexican border amid the immigration crisis that, of course, the administration and Alejandro Mayorkas refused to say is going to be a case. Which, by the way, Kamala Harris is the border czar. I hate using that term because that's a Russian oligarch leader, royal kind of name. But Harris is the border czar, and she's never been to the actual border. So yeah. Anyway. And yes, Sabo, she did babysit for Joe's kids. That's where their relationship basically started. Anyway. According to the article in Post Millennial, the troops would not be involved in law enforcement activities. That's too bad because they could be pretty effective border keepers, by the way. But apparently he is planning on sending the Biden regime. I like that. The Biden administration is planning to send 1,500 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border in anticipation of the surge of migrants, which, by the way, I saw an article the other day that there was a 3,000-member caravan that was already moving toward the border in anticipation of Title 42 ending. But the troops, apparently, according to the article, will not be involved in law enforcement activities, but will instead focus on administrative tasks to support the U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents while they are in the field. Yeah. What I don't understand is everybody talks about how Title 42 is ending and how, because it's ending, we're going to have to, instead of turn people away at the border, we're going to have to allow them to come in. Why? It's our border. We can choose to close it at any time we wish. We can essentially say that our border is closed. And according to Mayorkas, it is. It is closed. Our border is supposed to be closed. And according to Karine Jean-Pierre, her last statement, border crossings are down 90%. I don't get it. It's our border. We can just say, yeah, door's shut. Sorry, folks. Can't get in here. And use the army for doing what it's supposed to do, which is repelling opposing forces coming in to our lands. I'm sorry, this is going to sound bad, but put them along the border and tell everybody you cross it, you're going to get shot. End of story. And then, of course, do it the first couple times and targeting the coyotes first, obviously. Targeting them first. But anyway. Oh my gosh, Music Man. Oops. Music Man, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. Another Rumble rant from Music Man. $5. And then we also have an additional Rumble rant saying shot time. Okay, drink time. I'll do it. You want to give me $5 to take a shot? Sure. All right. And Jeannie over on Facebook says, close the border. Exactly. I don't understand why we're sitting here talking about this and like saying that, oh, we can't close the border because now we don't have Title 42 to turn people away. Hello, dumbasses. It's our border. It's like my front door. If I want to shut the damn front door, I can shut the front door. If I want to shut the back door in my house, I'm going to shut the back door. If I want to lock the damn thing, guess what? I'm going to lock it. Well, yes, Bonnie, I know. It was a sip. Okay, fine. Here you go. You guys are going to make me have to like fill the glass up again if you keep this shit up. Anyway, all right. So yeah, so Biden's sending more troops. He's sending troops there. So he's actually acting like he's the president now. He's actually acting like he's actually starting to sort of act like a president. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. This is completely off the rails. And speaking of off the rails, let me explain something to you. It actually took a civil court. Oh my gosh. It actually took a civil court to get Hunter Biden's records about the paintings. Check this. We are living in bizarre world. I'm sorry. We just are. But check this out. So an Arkansas judge, so just for those of you that don't know, Hunter Biden got brought in to civil court in order for his baby daddy to go and oh geez. Really, guys? Shit, here we go. You guys are gonna get me drunk. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So Sabo OH over on Rumble says, drink up, $5. So here we go. Hey, that was a full mouthful. That was at least a shot. Okay, damn it. All right. So, where am I at? Okay. So an Arkansas judge actually told Hunter Biden in his custody battle that he is having, or his what do they call that? It's not a custody hearing. It's a he's alimony. That's it. Alimony hearing. So his alimony hearing went and he basically had to appear in court, and he basically told the judge, hey, I'm not working now. I'm not doing anything now. And, so I don't have any money to give to my child, which the Biden family just doesn't actually recognize this child. At least Joe Biden doesn't recognize, because Joe Biden says, well, I only have 6 grandkids and not 7. So anyway, the alimony hearing, the judge essentially said, you know what? I want to see all of your finances, including things that you sold. So if you recall, Hunter Biden did some paintings that sold for astronomical amounts of money, $500,000 or whatever. And it just it obviously the judge is apparently aware of what Hunter Biden is doing. So he goes and suggests that Hunter Biden needs to reveal how much prices he made, how much money he made off of his paintings. So that's cool. So Hunter Biden in the piece, and this is of course from Breitbart, but in the piece, Hunter Biden says, Hunter Biden, who has refused to be forthcoming about his financials in a paternity case he reopened. Oh, he reopened. Oh my gosh, this is even better. He reopened the case in 2022 to reduce his child support payments and was slammed by the presiding judge for sealing and redacting his financial information, including the income he earned from selling art as a novice painter for anonymous buyers for up to $500,000. You know what? I suck as an artist. If I go and I make some abstract paintings, could I go and sell them online? Would you guys buy them for like, $250,000? I'd really appreciate that. That would be awesome. Anyway, oh my gosh. So, the judge basically said, and I quote, the ability to redact is somewhat being abused. I'm seeing a lot of things filed, especially Mr. Biden's counsel, sealing things, redacting things that are not confidential. Apparently the mother's counsel, Clint Lancaster, said that Hunter had hidden information regarding his tax returns, referencing a $9 million investment in a Chinese entity and valuations of his art along with the buyers' names. Hunter Biden's attorney attempted to dispute the disclosure by saying he's wrong. That's not what it states. So essentially, it's going to be kind of interesting to watch this because of the fact that, this is going to bring out Hunter Biden's financials, and it's going to be a part of public record. Everything that goes through court is a matter of public record. And so it's going to be, it's going to be. So apparently I can't, oh my gosh, apparently I can't create art and sell it for like $250,000 because Doug Gold over on Facebook says, sorry, Whiskey, but hell no. He put the apostrophe in there probably to avoid the, any kind of censors, word censors. And Coco Dominky on Rumble says, only if your dad is the president. Well, my dad is not the president. In fact, both of my fathers, both biological and step, are on to the afterlife. So, yeah. And no, by the way, just so you guys know, I am not going to prove whether or not I'm sitting with pants or not. I gave you my one naked photo. Okay. It's out on social media. You can go look it up. You can look it up on my Facebook. You can look it up on my Twitter. You can look it up on any of those. That is the only picture you will ever get of me being naked. Okay. All right. Okay. So basically what's going to happen here is Arkansas judge is going to make this stuff. They're going to make this stuff go away. So, and it's going to be interesting to watch this and see what the heck comes out, because if it's true that he took a $9 million payment, the question is going to be, where did that money get funneled? Because we already know that there's multiple, Biden family members who are indicated as being recipients of money from Chinese, especially CCP places. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just cracking up. Sorry. I'm watching the chat and everybody's like, passing, not going to do it. No, thanks. Don't want to look at your naked photo. Oh, which is true. That's awesome. I wouldn't want you guys to see me naked anyway, because believe me, it's nothing to look at. All right. So let's move on just a little bit. Speaking of the Biden family and their connections and everything else, I'm just going to point this out that apparently this showed up in the Daily Caller. Senator Grassley and Representative Comer demand a FBI record that is apparently alleging a criminal scheme involving then VP Biden. Before I dig into this, I'm basically told, what's up with the Whiskey Musings hat? And by the way, it's shot time. Shot time. Okay. There you go. It's another $5. Thank you very much, Music Man. I do appreciate that. All right. So Senator Grassley and they apparently uncovered a unclassified, this is the key. It is a unclassified document that somehow mentions an alleged criminal scheme involving then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national. The document in question, according to the piece, is an FBI-generated FD 1023 form that allegedly shows an arrangement exchanging money for policy decisions. Comer issued a subpoena Wednesday after legally protected disclosures to Grassley's office. Grassley said in a statement, "We believe the FBI possesses an unclassified internal document that includes very serious and detailed allegations implicating the current president of the United States. What we don't know is what, if anything, the FBI has done to verify these claims or investigate further. The FBI's recent history of botching politically charged investigations demands close congressional oversight," Grassley said in that statement. Now, of course, we all know that the IRS has already leveraged accusations against, oh gosh, I can't think of him, against the Attorney General of the United States, Mr. God, I can't think of his name. You guys have made me drink and now I can't remember. But anyway, he's already, that person is already in trouble. And so, yeah, it's just, I mean, seriously, we've got one of the most corrupt administrations that I think has ever sat in the White House or any place else. And no, it's not Blinken. It's, Garland. There you go. Garland. So, Garland is the one that is holding back and protecting Joe Biden and the Biden family. Blinken's a part of it, yes. But yeah, all right. I'm done with the Bidens. I'm done with the Bidens. These people are so corrupt. I can't even imagine anybody would bother to vote. All right. Considering the rest of the woke folk, okay. One of the things that I've been taking a huge stance on. Oh, and by the way, Jeannie says that the redacted papers were rejected by the Arkansas judge. So that's cool. So he has to produce the unredacted stuff. So that's great. I love it. Okay. And no, well, Fat Paws, thank you very much. I am qualified to be VP. Okay. Anyway, moving on. All right. So if you watch this program in the recent episodes, in the recent episodes, I have been very vocal about the idea of protecting women. Okay. Protecting women's spaces, protecting women's sports, protecting women in their accomplishments and their achievements. I am taking the complete stance that transgenders do not need to be a part of anything with regards to women. Okay. I'm sorry. You're flat out, you're not a woman. I take that back. I'm not sorry. You're flat out not a woman. Okay. You can identify as a trans woman if you're over a certain age, meaning you're an adult and you've gone and done the therapy and everything else. You can identify as a woman. But the fact of the matter is that you still have, especially in dealing with women's sports, you still have a biological advantage over a biological woman. It is a scientific fact. It has been out there for decades, a millennia. It's proven science. In fact, when you die, the only way that they're going to identify you is going to be whether it's male or female, based on the bone structure, especially of your hips. Okay. Your pelvic bones are going to demonstrate whether or not you are male or female. And so realistically, as a male, whether I dress up as a woman or not, I don't belong in women's spaces. I just don't. Okay. Now, Riley Gaines, who is the swimmer who went up against Leah Thomas, she also believes in that same thing. And so this popped here recently. Riley Gaines sounds off on Brittany Griner and Megan Rapinoe advocating for male inclusion in women's sports. Now, my wife and I had a conversation about this earlier today. And, to be honest, my wife brought up a good point. Mrs. Whiskey brought up a really good point. She basically said that she doesn't understand why Megan Rapinoe, who argued and fought for equal pay for women, She compared the women's national team in soccer against the men's national team, and she argued for equal pay for these people. And what is she doing now? She's saying that men can be included in women's sports. Now, I'm just going to point out, as a side note, that the all boys Dallas under 15, I think they were 14-year-olds. Maybe they were 15-year-olds. But anyway, that team, that boys team, beat the women's national team, meaning the professional women's team, something like 5-0 in a scrimmage one time. So when you sit there and look at this, I mean, just from the outside looking in, when you sit there and look at this, there is obviously an advantage to being a male in certain things like sports. Oh, I tried to hold this off for as long as I could. All right, Daybreak. Daybreak went and passed out a $5 Rumble rant and says, you're sipping, not drinking. Come on, show us what you can do. Okay, so here we go. Here's the glass. All right. And there it is again. All right. There you go. God, I'm going to go to bed drunk. You guys are killing me. Anyway. So going back, I do appreciate it, by the way. I appreciate it. Thank you. So Riley Gaines is basically taking a stand, and I'm going to stand with Riley Gaines. I'm seriously going to stand with you. Because of the fact, and I would love, if Riley actually sees this program, I would love to have her come on and discuss this. In fact, I might even try to reach out to her on Twitter or something and see if I can get her on the program. Now that I've said it, I'm going to have to do it. So there you go. But here's the thing. Riley Gaines has been making national headlines, and she has been fighting to keep women out of the sports, to keep men out of women's sports. And realistically, you also have to understand that she also is trying to fight to keep men out of women's spaces, because she actually ended up having to share a locker room with Leah Thomas. And the only reason I say Leah Thomas is because I don't know what his other name actually is. I think it's William. Anyway, Brittany Griner and Megan Rapinoe have criticized in public the Girls and Women in Sports Act, or Protection of Women and Girls in Sports. I got that backwards, but anyway, Sports Act, and they have come out and have voiced their opposition to that. And I don't understand why. I just don't get it. Why would you fight against the fact that women have made all of these wonderful strides forward and have made these their own freaking records and everything else, and you're sitting here and you're allowing the patriarchy to take over? I mean, that's seriously, the patriarchy is taking over in women's spaces. And here you are standing up and saying that they can go ahead and do that. And yet at the same time, you're standing up and saying the patriarchy is the problem. What the hell's wrong with you people? You cannot reconcile the hypocrisy that's going on here. Well, Riley Gaines has actually taken it just even further than just the public space and talking about it on public television. She has filed a lawsuit against Leah Thomas. And here's the thing. She has sued Leah Thomas for $2 million, who was born William Thomas. Okay, I was right. William Thomas. And she is citing the fact that William Thomas cheated in order to win the national the national championship that he did, the swimming title, and then also exposed himself in a female locker room. So she's actually using the court. She's taking it on. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm right there behind her. I'll stand with her in this fight because of the fact that she is actually doing what I would expect almost all of the women in this country of ours to have actually stood up and said it. I honestly, Jeannie over on Facebook says women gave birth to the greatest minds. You know what? There's actually a meme running around that has the number of people born from women and then the number of people born overall, and the numbers match. So anyway, I'm good to go with this. I seriously am. I mean, I would stand with her 100%. So he was ranked, according to the article, he was ranked 462 among collegiate male swimmers. And miraculously, when he decided to become Leah, he all of a sudden trounced everybody, like the top of the top of the top. He trounced everybody to win the 2022 NCAA National Championships in the 200 and 500 meter freestyle races. Not by a single second, not by 10, not by 20, but a whopping 38 seconds. Now, you can't sit here and tell me that this guy didn't jump into the women's pool to essentially make sure that he got a national championship. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care what this guy says on TV in public, and he's been in public saying, no, that wasn't the purpose. That wasn't the reason for me doing this. Bull crap. I'm sorry. Bull crap. Just not going to happen. But I will stand next to Riley, and she's definitely better looking than I am, but I would stand next to Riley for sure against this. This is just ridiculous. There's absolutely no reason for women to be in, or for men to be in women's sports. There's no reason for women to actually have to kowtow to this guy, which again, here's the expansion of the patriarchy, which we hear from the left all the time. It's the patriarchy that's the problem. It's the patriarchy that is causing all of this. Well, if it is, damn it, stand up against bullcrap like this. I'm serious. Anyway. All right. Moving on. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh. Okay. So just as a little side note, you know how Joe Biden has been talking about how everybody has to buy electric cars, and everybody should buy an electric car because electric cars are so cheap. Well, guess what? This popped today. And I got to tell you, no real surprise to me. None whatsoever. According to Fox Business, there's only 3. Count them, 3 new car models that are priced under $20,000 today. Okay. Automakers apparently have been discontinuing the cheapest models. They've been, well, of course, because they can't make as much money off of the cheaper models. So what do you think? All right. In the piece here, it says new vehicle sales prices fell below MSRP in March for the first time in nearly 2 years as supply chain issues continue to ease up. But cars and trucks are still far from cheap. The average price paid for a new vehicle was $48,008 in March, according to Kelley Blue Book, a drop from $550 from the prior month. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, $48,000 was probably about the price that I paid for my truck. But anyway. Rebecca, oh God, this is going to, Rebecca Rydzewski, Rydzewski. Boy, I wonder what nationality she came from. But anyway, she says, we've been anticipating transition transaction price declines as inventory has been steadily improving and choices expanded. More vehicles on dealer lots and on their competitors' lots means dealers simply don't have the pricing power they did 6 months ago. She is a Cox Automotive Research Manager of Economic and Industry Insights. That's a mouthful. Prices are expected to continue their downward trend, but are unlikely to reach the 37,736 average that they were in March 2020 at any time soon, if ever again. Now, if you guys think that you can buy an electric vehicle around 48,000, as far as I know, there's only one model that you might be able to make from an electric vehicle. The rest of them are much higher than that. And that's even like Elon's thing. But anyway, yeah, I just don't think. Oh, and oh boy, I'm going to mincemeat your name. I'm sorry. I apologize ahead of time. Marat Chunik over on Facebook says, my mom and dad bought an expensive house for $48,000. Yeah, there's a lot of people who have talked about that. How how houses back in the day were actually taken care of. And yes, I'm sorry, Marat. I hope I didn't screw your name up too much. You're going to have to let me know. Because I'd really hate to mispronounce your name. But anyway, Jeannie over on Facebook says used cars are unavailable. That's correct. They are. A lot of them are unavailable. In fact, I'm going through and fixing up my used cars. I'm not even planning on trying to sell them or anything because I can't get another used car. Just not going to happen. All right. So moving on from this. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Oh, Music Man says 8:00 shot time. You guys have been pushing, punching, drinking, draining, whatever you want to call it. So much damn whiskey into me. Jeez. You're killing me here, folks. All right. But I do appreciate it. Okay. So let's see. All right. Continuing on with the whole idea of the woke folk. Well, you know what, folks? I have been one who has continually talked about, oh, okay, it's actually just Mark. Well, thank you. Your name comes up Marat in Facebook, but it's just Mark. That's a lot easier. Thank you, sir. Marat, sorry, Mark. There we go. All right. Okay, so you know what? Before I get into this, I'm being called for doing Pet of the Week. So here we go. Let's go ahead and let's take a break for just a second. And let's go over to Pet of the Week.
Please check your mailbox. A new message has arrived.
Oh, Pet of the Week. Yeah, and I'm just laughing because Jarhead says Rick's reading is getting slower. Yeah, no shit, you guys. You're getting me drunk here with every $5 thing. I appreciate it, but damn. Anyway. All right. Let's go on to Pet of the Week here. And the Pet of the Week, of course, is Outlaw Dog's final focus on the wonderful troop that is the Outlaw Dogs. Sorry, guys. Let me get this up. And let me go ahead and bring up. Where are we looking at? I'm missing it. I know I'm missing it. Where is it? Oh, there we go. All right. So let's talk about the last puppy, dog, whatever, of the Outlaw Dogs. Here we go with Clyde. So this is Clyde, folks. And here's what Outlaw Dogs points out. So Hey, Whiskey. Clyde is a 5-year-old Royal Transylvanian Hound. Really? Transylvania Hound? Oh my gosh. All right. A Royal Transylvania Hound. Transylvanian. Gotta pronounce that correctly. They were bred in Hungary as hunting dogs. They come in 2 colors, red and black and tan. Clyde is a very sweet boy and thinks the cat, Lucy Fur, she's been on this program before, is the Dracula. He is supposed to hunt. He does not bark, but he does a very impressive, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm going to give this a try. All right, good enough. He takes care of Billy the Kid and is a great dad to his 8 pups. Bonnie is his girl, though, and when he whines, they are apart. Oh, sorry. He whines when they are apart, so he's kind of attached to Bonnie, of course. He is also a model and dons many bow ties and costumes. His favorite is Super Clyde, and I think we get to see Super Clyde here in just a second. Well, let me go ahead and flip through these pictures. So we have Clyde as a baby. We have Clyde. This is his best image, is Clyde. Clyde. That's Clyde. I want to say Clyde the Glide, only because it's Clyde Drexler. But anyway. Oh, there he is in a bow tie. God, if I could just get my dog to do costumes, it would be amazing. My wife would love it. She puts them on him, but every time she does, poor Angus gets this look like, do I have to wear this? Anyway, so Clyde, very, very, very handsome in his bow tie here. And then we have Clyde, apparently is a smaller puppy, not quite as the same puppy that I showed you before, but here he is as a puppy. And then there he is in his super suit. He is Super Clyde. Anyway. You must train them early, outlaw dogs. You really should. I mean, this is Clyde at New Year's in 2019. You know, every single one of outlaw dogs' dogs, they love, or at least they appear to love, the costumes. Like I've seen them in bunny ears. I've seen them in Irish costumes. I've seen them in all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. Do you start them early? I mean, she could, you know, hopefully she can respond back in the chat here. But seriously, I mean, do you start them early or something? How do you get them to accept all of those? I just want to know. That's what I want to know. But you know, because I mean, unfortunately, my dog, he gets this look on him that's like, oh shit, do I have to? Do I really have to? And then he looks at me like, Dad, please save me, whenever he gets it on him. It's funny. I mean, Mrs. Whiskey and daughter Whiskey, they both are like, they want to put him in stuff, but he's just like, oh shit, I have to. I'm just curious. So outlaw dogs, please. Oh, well, you know what? She says that Outlaw Dog says that she bribes them with carrots. That might do it. You know, I may have to start doing that. Although I think Angus is a little old for this kind of stuff, but maybe as a kid. I mean, maybe when they're kids or whatever. But anyway, apparently it's not Sabo says that Henry loves his Halloween costume. So I guess some dogs and some cats like to be dressed up. I know that ours are a little less accepting of it. But anyway, Outlaw Dog says raw baby carrots work. That's cool. Have you ever done hot dogs and cheese? Always been told that. AS Music says my Yorkies wouldn't stand for clothing. They'd tear it off. May their memory be a blessing. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So if you want your pet featured on Pet of the Week, which is the Wednesday segment, please do so at fans. That is Foxtrot Alpha November Sierra at whiskeymusings.online. Make sure it's .online. It's not .net. It's not .com. It's .online. So once again, that's fans at whiskeymusings.online. And you can send me the picture, name, and then any pertinent information like breed, age, any kind of special story. We had a story here not too long ago about a daddy longlegs. Won't say who put that in. But I pretty much will accept just about anything, to be honest with you. Pet of the Week. Thank you. Thank you, Outlaw Dogs, for providing us with Clyde. And of course, Clyde, Bonnie, and Billy, their kid, are featured often on the Conspiracy Theory Thursday because they love, for the Marquet Show, because they love to put on the tinfoil hats to protect their heads from the conspiracy theorists that are out there. All right. Thank you very much, Outlaw Dogs. I do appreciate that. That is just wonderful. All right. So let's move on. So continuing on with the idea that the woke folk are actually getting their just due. We also have this that popped just this week, which is, and here I got to get this up, which is that apparently Bud Light sales have crashed even further amid the boycott over the pro-trans campaign. Now, for those of you that may not know, because I don't drink Bud Light, but apparently for those of you that don't know, they put in Dylan Mulvaney, who is a biological male who dresses like a young girl. Sorry, this guy has some mental issues. I'm just going to throw it out there. But anyway, Dylan Mulvaney became kind of a spokesperson for Bud Light, and they took a serious hit for that. In fact, there was the person as a part of Bud Light who thought this was a great idea is now on a administrative leave, absence, whatever. Anyway, so this comes from the Epic Times. The crash in retail sales of Bud Light has deepened amid conservative calls for a boycott following the brand's partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, according to a beer industry report. Tracking data on Bud Light sold in places like supermarkets and liquor stores. Liquor stores, off-premise sales volumes outside of restaurants and bars fell by an annualized 26.1% in the week ending April 22nd, according to Beer Business Daily. So basically what ended up happening is they pissed off the people who drink this stuff and they aren't coming back. Well, you know what? I say go for it. I say bury these people. If we don't boycott them and bankrupt them, we are not necessarily going to win. I am in the camp of no quarter given. The same camp with the women in men in women's sports. No quarter given, folks. No quarter given. We have got to stop this entire thought process that these people, we can't capitulate with these people anymore. We just can't, because every time we capitulate in terms of the conservatives versus the liberals or leftists, we can't capitulate with them. If we capitulate with them, we give them an inch, they take a mile. Cannot do that any longer. We can't give them the first inch anymore. Okay? Literally, we just cannot do it. If we are going to survive, not only as a country, but as a culture, moving forward, we cannot in any way, shape, or form back down to these folks. Stand up, declare your positions, your stance, your principles, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that these people understand that we are not giving an inch. Just not going to happen. I don't even care if they apologize. I mean, Coco Dominki says that, you know, they can't even grow balls and apologize. At this point, I don't even care if they apologize, to be honest with you. Now, granted, I don't drink Bud Light anyway. So this is kind of an empty promise or an empty thing. I mean, obviously I drink whiskey. And even if I do the beer, realistically, I don't drink Bud Light anyway, even if I drink a beer. But let's be honest with you. We can't give these people any inch. We cannot apologize. We cannot accept apologies. We just cannot do this. Okay. We literally can't, because the more that we do this, the worse it's going to get. It's already been proven that they will not accept and be happy with what we have given them. They want to continue to push down the path until we give 100% up to their agenda. And we are not going to do that. We cannot do that. We literally cannot do that, because that is essentially capitulating and giving up our principles, our values. We just can't do it. We just cannot do it. Okay. So I'm just done. I'm done. All right. Let's see. Doug Gold says over on Facebook, wonder what the increase in Coors stock is since this took place. That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Yes, I've got the rant. 8:15 shot time. Love the show. $5. Here we go. Hey, I said I would drink every time $5 came up. So here we go. Ooh. That empties out my glass, folks. What does that tell you? And actually, I've refilled it twice. So, oh my gosh, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. All right. Couple of last things in this last round. So first of all, I don't know if anybody noticed, because most people don't notice the Clintons anymore. But apparently, according to this article from the Daily Fetched, trans reporter torched after inadvertently proving that Chelsea Clinton is pushing porn for kids. Okay. So first of all, let's be honest. Anybody who sits here and talks about the whole idea of banning books, okay? Banning books realistically is not what the left believes, but more so of the idea. We're not banning the books. We're essentially just taking certain books that are, shall we say, sexually explicit, show a little more than what we really want to kids, okay? They don't need to see pornography. Well, apparently, our wonderful friend here, Chelsea Clinton, went ahead and was pushing porn for kids. And so, according to the article, a far-left transgender reporter was put on blast after rushing to defend can't tell the difference, Chelsea Clinton, after she criticized restrictions on controversial LGBTQ books for kids, essentially depicting porn in public schools. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've looked at some of the screenshots that some of these people are going and putting out online about these books. I have not actually read the books, so I'm going to be honest with you on that point. I haven't actually read the books, but based on the photos that I've seen, these things are horrific. I mean, I might as well freaking hand over a Penthouse or a Playboy or this is reaching down, a Jugs, or even better yet, I might as well even sell to the child a subscription to something like, I don't know, Pornhub, let's say. These things are essentially a guide to tell you exactly what you are supposed to do in a certain sexual situation. And I'm sorry, but I mean, when I was a kid, I found books, I won't say what, but I found books that would describe certain, how to do certain positions and things like that. And of course, these books exist. They exist to make it to add a little spice to a married couple in the bedroom. It is designed, these books are designed to assist with somebody who might be having, let's say they need to get a little more romance within a bedroom. They need to get a little more variation within a bedroom in order to understand. But these things are literally describing sexual activity in a specific way. And it's being put on kids, children's libraries in like elementary school or middle school or whatever. This is ridiculous. This stuff absolutely should be restricted to certain age ranges. And these people who are arguing against this, I mean, honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to understand, where is your point in all of this? What is the point of this? Why are you advocating for this? So to listen to like Chelsea Clinton, who's, I'll admit that the social media folks, they follow her. But the point is that why are you even bothering to like talk about this? 20 years ago, this would not have even been a question. This really wouldn't have even been a question, with this, in terms of making sure that this stuff does not get put in front of kids without some sort of an adult supervision. I just don't understand this at all. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so, yeah. Anyway, she apparently was talking about this. She tweeted that Republicans are trying to ban books that depict pornographic themes, posting an NBC News article that decried the push to ban sexually explicit books from elementary schools. Which, again, I don't think the kids need to know this stuff. They really don't. They have no desire. I mean, hell, when I was in elementary school, I didn't even care about things like sex, to be honest with you. But anyway. Oh, our world is going to hell in a handbasket, and I am certainly not going to help it continue down the path. All right. As I look at the time here, that is going to end tonight's. That is my final Whiskey Musings thought of the evening. That is going to end the night. And yes, I need to recognize Day. Yes, thank you for the $5 Rumble rant. I do appreciate. She says, drink, love ya. I will do it after I shut down. Have a wonderful evening, folks. I do appreciate you coming in and doing that. Do me a favor. If you enjoy the broadcast, enjoy what I present, head on over to Rumble, sign up for an account. It's free. It is free. Once you sign up for the account, of course, follow the Whiskey Musings broadcast over on Rumble, because I don't know how long I can actually continue to transmit on YouTube or Facebook. And so follow me over on Rumble. That'll make sure that you know how to, or that you can get the Whiskey Musings broadcast every single time I broadcast. So anyway, good night, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on all of my channels. We'll see you next time on the Whiskey Musings broadcast. Good night, everybody.